We are live, and I want to welcome y'all back to another episode of Mind, Your Body, and Soul, the Healthy Podcast brought to you by Neighborhood Medical Center. I am Joseph Ward, and as always, I'm joined by my homie, Mr. Mathias Sweet. What's going on, Mathias?
Nothing much. Joe, how was your holiday?
Holidays worth relaxing, very relaxing, because we have a lot going on this side of the Mississippi.
You're right. But
Hey,
it was actually nice because we really didn't have to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's about family and things like that. But I really think, coronavirus kind of got us back to the basics where we work on our relationships with our immediate family that's in our house. So this
yeah,
was the time for us to really get the people in your household
right.
spend time with and get to know and kind of bring back those roots of back when we were younger. There wasn't nowhere to go, nothing was open. It was
Yeah,
just you had to
yeah,
play outside or you had to get along with your siblings
yeah,
in the house. So I kind of think it kind of got us back to that, which what I'm saying was a grateful time for me.
yeah. And of course we know these holidays were a lot different. I know like both my parents in their mid 60s,
Mhm.
so it ain't the same as far as being able to go visit and things. Like my pop straight tell you, look, I'm scared, and I get it because he's 65, so I get it. So it's us making sure we be a lot more aware of what we're doing, and people stop being selfish and
Mhm.
thinking that your need for fun or whatever should trump health. And so that is something that we want to touch on today. But before we get deeper into it, I want to remind everybody that Mind Your Body and Soul, the Healthy Podcast, it is an educational podcast that focuses on all things health related to help our listeners learn more about various health topics and information they may not have had access to. We seek to inform, empower, uplift, and mobilize our listeners to become the healthiest versions of themselves. And remember, you can catch us every Wednesday right here on our website at www.nmcpodcast.com. Also on our Neighborhood Medical Center YouTube channel. Go to YouTube. If you're looking at this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and share. That algorithm and that help us be found in more timelines and more suggested views on YouTube. We can also be found on Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And we got a lot more podcast outlets coming up that we're going to be a part of. But y'all check us out because we are out here and we making sure that we utilize these virtual platforms now that we can't do outreach. So speaking of that, let's kind of we wanna talk about healthy eating. We want to give a recap of the year because this has been a trying year. It's been a different year. Before we get into the recap, I know we wanted to get into it. We wanted to get into it before Thanksgiving. A lot was it's just a lot happening for us too. But healthy eating. Let's kind of touch on that real quick. Um, when you think about healthy eating, Matthias, like what are some of the thoughts that come to your mind, or what are even some of the habits or things that you try to incorporate when you yourself want to eat? And just full disclosure for everybody, we're not coming off like we nutritionists or something like that, but we do have an idea of what healthy eating is, and we kind of want to make sure we give tips and things so people can go into the new year with a mindset of eating healthy. So with you, when because and you've done a great job of being able to transform your body, transform your life through healthy eating. So can you kind of give some of your experiences of how you were able to transform yourself through healthy eating?
Yeah, now like Joe said before, we not claiming that we are any type of professional in dietitian or in
Right.
losing weight or anything like that. Like I said, we're just in the healthcare field and we're just going off what we know. We are going to reach out trying to see if we can get somebody who is certified in
Yeah.
that to come talk and give
Yeah.
more information. But we know around the holiday times, everybody got this good Southern food. We in the South. We know that's what we love to eat, that good comfort food.
Hmm.
So, of course, everybody know I love to eat. And that's one thing. I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna eat good food. I don't want no nasty food. I want good food. But it's just like we gotta learn to stay away from things that we know that causes our bodies to get weight. and our bodies to do different things. So
stop calling him.
So that's what we try to tell people. We tell people to look out for the carbs. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know on Christmas, everybody had that macaroni and cheese, except Joe, because Joe don't eat noodles.
Yeah. No.
Macaroni and cheese, the cornbreads, we had the dressings, all those different things that have carbs. Those carbs turn into sugars and turn into fats. They raise your blood sugar. So for the people who out there are diabetics and things like that, you got to worry about all those different things that could affect other comorbidities and other not optimistic infections, but other diseases that you might have or diagnoses that you might have. Mm-hmm. So just eating, you really got to look at the different things. For me, I did a diet called the keto diet, and it worked for me. Each diet doesn't work for everybody else. But what I did was I cut out a lot of my carbs. I had to learn that your body needs some carbs. It doesn't need too many, but it needs some carbs. And when you cut out the carbs and the sugars and things like that, you'll see the weight to start falling off and everything like that. But before you try any diets or anything like that, I want you to reach out to your healthcare professional and ask them about it for you. Because like I said, every diet is not the same. And it is hard. Dieting is hard, but also good dieting comes with good exercise. So we even give out those little plates sometimes at different events for the portion control to let people know exactly what size portions you need. Me, I'm a meat eater. I love meat. I love to, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things is what really is the meal for me. And I do like sides and things like that, but the meat is a good thing because it's the protein. That's what your body really needs is protein and vegetables. Those are the two main things that you really need to help you lose weight and stay healthy are those. You can eat a lot of those because they're superfoods. So you can eat a lot of the different foods that are able to bring your body nutrition. Now, that don't mean you got to add all that cheese and all the other stuff to the broccoli because you're making it more unhealthy.
Yes.
You sit there and add the whole salt and pepper and all the stuff, you're making it unhealthy.
Right.
You add, what are the other things? The salads. Now, I know people going to get me on this part. The salads, you got the nice pretty salad with the lettuce, the tomatoes, the onion, but then you kill yourself when you throw the salad dressing on top because the salad dressing has a whole bunch of carbs and sugars in it. Sure. If you ever look at the back of a salad dressing label, you'll be like amazed at what's in there. Because when I did the keto diet, I looked and I had to read all the back of the ingredients.
Yes.
There's carbohydrates in there. There's these things. There's good things. There's bad things. So when you look at it, you really got to look and see like, dang, am I really eating this? I didn't know that the carbs was in this. I thought this was healthy. Even the vinaigrettes and things.
Right.
You got to look to see because the sugars are there, the sodium is there, and a lot of this stuff. And stay away from the frozen foods. Try to do fresh foods, fresh homemade. You know what I'm saying? Visit your local farmers markets. Even though it's coronavirus, make sure you put your mask on and your gloves and your sanitizer. But go visit those local produce markets, the farmers markets, because the fresh produce is what you really want. The other produce, when you get it, the like frozen and things like that, they put chemicals and stuff to keep it to make it last long. So I just want you to understand, buying fresh is a lot better. It could be expensive, but if you can't afford that, it's okay to get the frozen stuff. It'll work almost the same, but fresh is always better.
Right, and also for people within food deserts. But I do want to hit on something that you were talking about is the salads and things. Just making sure people get into that mind because I don't want to come off as if we're shaking our finger at people. But all in all, this is a healthy podcast. So it's our job to give healthy information. But it's like you said, with the salads and things and the vegetables, remember, taste is not the ultimate goal. And I think a lot of times we make taste our ultimate goal. So, because you know me, like I'm the salad guy here.
Not me.
Hey, look, they give me big old bowls of salad. I'm like, man, I can't eat all this salad. They're like, no, you take it. But it's like I'm known for, and I'm a fan of the vinaigrettes, and I had to learn how much sugar was in the vinaigrettes. But I'm very particular about my dressings that I put on my salad. So for 90% of the salads that I eat, I have no dressing. And of course, everybody got jokes. It's like, you eating that old regular salad? And they're like, well, You know, well, yeah, it's salad, and I want my salad to taste like salad, but I want it to be as healthy as possible. Now, that doesn't mean you can't add certain things. Now, just me being particular, just me, I don't, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong for doing that. This is strictly just me. But I don't understand eggs and cheese on salad. Whoever invented that, we got beef. Okay.
Well, we gonna have beef because I like eggs and cheese.
I know.
So
I just never understood.
we really want people to understand. Like I said, we're not no dietitians. We're not no people that's educated in the actual dietitian or healthy eating. We just know what's healthy from working in healthy settings. Now, I also know that me before previously, my eyes are always bigger than what my stomach is, but I'm still gonna eat what I put on my plate. And that's another issue that we have is by overeating. And we need to make sure we cut everything to portions. It's okay to have the bad foods or the carby food. You just have to have them in portion size in moderation.
Well, can we do this? And only if you want to, because if people look at a picture from you maybe 5 years ago to now, two different people.
Mm-hmm.
So what foods did you incorporate within your diet to help you get down to where you are now?
Well, the food, okay, before, for anybody who didn't know me, I was like 320 pounds. So my face was real chunky and fat. I was big. I was in a 3X. And now I'm in an extra large. So, I mean, I really took my time. And you got to find the time. And I was the type of person that was, diets don't work. I'm not exercising. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm kind of still in that mindset a little bit, but I've seen it work. And I know when you put your mind to it, you're able to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to stop as people saying what we can't do.
Right.
And just going through and thinking positive. If you keep thinking and giving yourself those positive, what is the word? Admiration? Affirmations. And you're just going through and saying, yes, I can do this. Even if people tell you you can't, don't listen to those people who tell you you can't. Listen to those people that's going to push you and make you go. Yes. Have those accountability people. Because do I like going to the gym? No. Do I get fussed at home by going to the gym? Yes. Hey, we got to get up. We got to go. My friends be like, hey, we going to the gym today? We even be at work. Hey, we all going to go work out. You going to go work out? I won't. Okay, we'll meet at the park. We'll go run. Working out is not that bad like people think it is. It's the simple thing of getting at least 30 minutes of cardio a day. Just 30 little minutes. You can walk around the mall, but you got to not walk around the mall like, oh, I'm looking at this store, this. You got to get a continuous pace to get your heart rate up.
Right.
But you can walk in the mall. You can walk around your living room. You can do exercise on the TV. They got little different things on the TV, on the YouTubes and things like that are free. You don't have to pay for all that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to get a gym membership. You can work out outside. There's different things. You look on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all them. The workout people right now with coronavirus are giving out free tips for people to work out because you can't really come in big group settings to have those classes anymore. So those are the things that I chose to do was those. But like I said, I did the keto diet and I really cut out like the sugary thing. Everybody loves sodas and sweet tea.
Hey, I got to give you your props because you and I both like Coca-Colas. And what we did is we challenged each other. And so we was like, this water, we're going to, because, and it sounds weird, when we try to have a competition, see who can pee the most. Because if we drinking, then we peeing. And it's kind of hard to see these things, trying to put our hand behind them. But
I'm trying to turn my, my thing off. Hold on, where my background is?
But it's like, but I like that we did that. So it's showing a little bit. But I like that we did.
Judge. Like you gotta have those people that account you for it. And yeah, you're not gonna like it at first. You're gonna be like, I really want that soda. But the way to do it is have that soda. But don't drink the whole soda. Or if you look at some people say diet sodas are bad, the Coke Zeros or the things, but if you look at the Coke Zeros, they don't have no sugars, no carbs, no nothing. Have a little bit. It's not the same taste, but you get used to it. But you have a little bit of it to wean yourself off.
Right.
I never thought I could say I'm not going to drink soda no more. I was addicted to sodas.
He was.
I can admit I have it.
We both were. I'm not going to say he was. we both were, and that's the thing. We used to come in the morning, and the first thing we do is drink our cokes. And see,
That was my coffee.
the thing about it with me, I'm slim. I've been slim all my life, so people have always come at me like, "Well, why you need to eat healthy? Well, why you need to exercise?" And it's like, well, I've always remembered seeing skinny men with diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
skinny men who are not healthy. Like I was just talking to my pops this past week, just telling us about one of our uncles who's thin as me, because everybody in my family we thin, especially on my dad's side, and talking about how my uncle Spooky has diabetes, has a bad case of diabetes, and he's been thin his whole life. And so for me, those are things that kind of stuck in the back of my head. And coming from an athletic background, it was just exercise and eating. Now, eating right, I have no portion control. I will admit that right now. And it's crazy because my mindset was I never needed to have portion control, but now I know I do need to have portion control, but I'm working on it. But I sit there and pile my plate up and then eat the whole thing and then still be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And so just for me, just being conscious of what I'm doing, understanding that even though I just ate these 5 big plates, what's this the best thing to do for me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's when we're eating, even from a mental standpoint, what are we really trying to satisfy? Are we really just trying to satisfy hunger? We trying to satisfy some other things? So it's just being more cognizant of how we go about consuming the foods and the foods that we are consuming. Like if you live here in Tallahassee, Mathias talked about the farmers market. Um, so do Google like the local farmers markets because they have them, but I know they usually happen on Saturdays. Yeah, you have some of the flea market. You can go get you some fresh produce. There's the Southern Grocers store in the plaza on Appalachian Parkway and Capitol Circle with the KFC and the Planet Fitness. Next to the Mike Seafood. Shout out to Mike Seafood. But um, but Southern, I've gone to Southern Growers for $20 to $25 and came out with a lot of vegetables and fruits and things that I could eat. So we do want to encourage people going into the new year to eat better and exercise on a regular basis because we all know, and everybody who is a fitness instructor, a trainer, everybody who work at gyms know that these next month and a half finna have a whole bunch of gym memberships. So if you're one of the people who get the gym membership within this time period, come next year this time, don't be restarting a gym membership. Keep it going. But Mathias has already gave you tips. You don't have to go to a gym. You can exercise at your house. But exercise and eating right is gonna help you.
You can. And like honestly, there's a lot of places like in Tallahassee, when you drive around, just drive around the city, especially, you know what I'm saying? Me and Joe are the type of people that we drive around and we explore.
Yeah.
We look and see what's in our city so we know what to tell people. If you look on the south side, there are two, I don't know if you call them farms or
Community gardens.
community gardens that figure out how you can get into those and sit
Yep.
there and grow your own food because it's a lot that you get to
Yes.
look at and see. Even at the Lincoln Center where we work at one of our locations, they actually put planter boxes. Basically, it's just some 2x4s and some plywood, and they put dirt inside of it, made them some little boxes. You could do this in your backyard and plant you some fresh produce and print and grow. You'd be so excited that you grew something and it makes you take part in what you're doing. And actually, the food tastes 10 times better when it's homegrown than it does at the grocery store.
Look at here. And I can cook too. So
I don't know about all that.
hey, we're gonna have a challenge. We're gonna have a challenge. No, but I know you can cook, and I know I was taught how to cook. But also, I just do want to hit on that. I know for the I Grow Gardens, because the ones you're talking about on Dunn Street and on over by the Hollyfield projects, those are I Grow Gardens. I know you can contact Miss Maisha Mitchell. Um, it's the Frenchtown something I can't remember, but I know you can contact Miss Maisha Mitchell.
We'll put the
There's
contact information below so the
yeah, we're
people
gonna drop that in here
so they can
in the
see it because
description.
that's a good resource for anybody. And honestly, when they have things like when you hear farmers market or fresh fruit, everybody automatically thinks Publix. Publix has a great, I'm not gonna lie, Publix has great produce. They have great everything. But you can get some great produce at your Walmart.
Yeah.
You can get it at your Fresh for Less.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you put me on Fresh for Less.
Like, don't sleep on Fresh for Less.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta, you gotta figure out when the trucks come.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheap. And I mean, and not saying nothing's wrong with the food being cheap, but you have to look at what's for your pocket. We might have, we might have money, we might not, but you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna sit there and overly spend. Why am I gonna spend $40 when I can go spend $20? Because that other 40 can go somewhere else. We're just like everybody else. Everybody's on a budget during this coronavirus season, during this pandemic time. So every little penny helps. So that's what we want you to understand. You don't have to go eat at the expensive stores. We're not advocating for any specific grocery store. We don't have no ties, no affiliations, no nothing. We just want to be able to know what is available for everybody with everybody's budget. There's going to be some people that all I buy my produce from is Publix, but everybody doesn't have that kind of money. Everybody can't afford those expensive things, but I can get you those same type of things at a different grocery store that's a little bit cheaper. The produce is still the same, it's still there, but you have to really look at what's best for you. Because some people like Whole Foods. Well, we don't even have Whole Foods no more.
Yeah, we do. We still got Whole Foods. I went yesterday. I had to go pick up one Amazon locker packages, but it's still.
So we have Whole Foods.
Yeah. We lost Trader Joe's. We lost Earth Fare and Trader Joe's and something.
No, Trader Joe's is still here. Yeah, it's on by TJ Maxx.
Okay, I know we lost Earth Fare. Did we lose
Earth Fare and Lucky's?
Oh, yes. Oh man, I miss Lucky's.
So, that was my spot. But we actually go around, and believe it or not, we go around and find those different things. And even when you sit there, and always stay tuned to our Facebook and Joe and I's Facebook and Instagrams and things like that, and our website for Neighborhood Medical Center, we give out food almost every month. We give it out, and it's produce. It's good, fresh produce. The day before, what was it? Christmas week, we gave away 14,000 pounds of food that were vegetables, things that people could use. So it's a lot of free food that's being given out. It doesn't matter about your social status, anything like that, how much money you make. We don't even ask for a lot of things. You just pull up in your car and we load your car up. It's nothing to be ashamed about to come get this free food. We understand these times are where it's at, so we want people to eat healthy. We want people to stay healthy. We want people to have food. Even if you're sitting there working on a diet, we understand a lot of people can't afford those foods, so they can't feel they can lose weight, but you can still lose weight. You just got to do it with portion control and moderation.
Yes.
So you can still eat the foods. Don't never deprive your body of what you're wanting and craving. Just have a little bit of it so you can get your craving and satisfied, and then keep moving on to the next thing.
Right. And speaking of that, with the farm, so that was on December 19th. We had a farm share at in Havana at our Havana location for Neighborhood Medical Center. So I want to first say thank you to Miss Janae Freeman for all the help that she gave us to be able to get our location together, to be able to have the farm share. I want to thank Farm Share for reaching out so we could have that. Everybody who came out to help me. I know I'm trying to name everybody, but Deshaun, Vonzel Reynolds. I got his middle name in my head, but Vonzel Reynolds, Tamika Willis, Miss Dottie, Emily, Mark Ian, Miss Edna. I shouldn't start naming names, because I know I'm gonna forget it. Everybody who came out to help us. Thank you, Dinah. Thank you, everybody. Mahogany, thank you. Danielle Williams, thank you. If I forgot your name, I'm getting old. But thank you to everybody, because you all made it easy for us to get the people in to get out. And like you said, we gave over 14,000 pounds of food that day. And we try to do every third Wednesday of every month. We do our best to have a second harvest food distribution here at our Neighborhood Medical Center building in Frenchtown. And we try to do that every third Wednesday. But also with that, we do want people in Tallahassee to know, if you live in Tallahassee, in Leon and Gaston County that we know of, you can eat. You can get fresh produce just by going to the local food distributions. Find out where your farm share distributions are being held. Find out where your second harvest food distributions are being held. Like, we just know this: Neighborhood Medical Center, moving forward 2021, we're going to have these food distributions coming. We're going to make sure we do that because we want to make sure our people have food and have fresh, healthy foods to eat, because we understand that if you're already dealing with other health disparities, eating bad on top of that will only make it worse.
That's right. And we have our first food distribution already scheduled, Joe, for January 20th, 2021 at the 438 West Brevard Street from
Yeah.
9 to 11. It's going down right here in Leon County
Yeah.
at the Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
Do it every Wednesday. I'm telling you, we're trying to have it every not every week, every third Wednesday. Let me take that back. Every third Wednesday. But we're going to try to see what else we can do. If we can increase some more and at least have a farm share or something else.
Right.
It's in the makings. But we want you to understand that it takes a lot of work to put these on, because we need a lot of people to help and assist with those, because we can't do it alone. And we're trying to be out here and feed the community, and that's what we're trying to do. And if you go to secondharvest.com or .org, just type in Second Harvest in Google, and their website will pop up. They have every place that has food distributions, the times, the dates, who it is. It's a schedule up there. You can go like clockwork and find it. FarmShare does the same thing. It's a lot of different places. You can go to different community agencies and say, hey, I need food. Where can I get a list of food places to go? Different food banks. As 2021 comes up, Joe and I do our hardest to find updated lists so we can find, hey, who's giving food? What church is giving this out? Is Good News Outreach still giving things out? Is this giving things out? So we try to go through and update those lists so we can make sure that we can provide those lists for you guys in the community, so you know where you can get free food from. That is our goal. Even when school was in FAMU, they were giving out food. They had a food farm share.
Stay giving out food. Shout out to Miss Harry and Miss B. We love y'all.
And Miss Tatum.
We love y'all.
Yeah. And we appreciate all the things that you guys do for the community, because y'all really do. You take the time, and if there's been times that we needed to get food to somebody, we've been able to call our resources and get somebody food. So make sure that you just reach out to your community partners and your community liaisons in the community that are here to help you. We're here to help you. And we get excited when people call and research us and say, hey, can you help me find this? We're here. That's what we're here for. And we want the community to know that. And it's not just about getting healthy foods. It's whatever you need, just call, and we're a community resource to help you guys.
Right.
But our topic today is healthy eating, and that's what people understand. Your vegetables, your proteins, your rices, your wheats, all those different things, you have to look at what's best for you. But like I said, always check with your healthcare professional before you start a diet or something to see, because if you have diabetes, you might not be able to do some diets. Right. You might not be able to do certain things, like a lot of fruit. Everybody says, oh, eat fruit. But fruit has fructose, which is sugars, which cause your blood sugar to go up. So we really want people to understand those are the things that you have to really look at and look for what foods do to your body, how they digest, how they do that. That's one thing. We're going to have one of our diabetes educators come on here, Dr. Otis Kirksey, and have him, who's actually, I think he's the president of the Diabetes Association.
I think he
just got nominated.
Big things out here.
He's doing big things in the diabetes world, and we're going to have him come on here so he can actually talk about diabetes and give a greater understanding, because honestly, when you start talking about diabetes, hypertension, there's low blood sugar, high blood sugar. There's all these different things that go on apart. Diabetes got diabetes 1, diabetes 2. So when you get all these different things, and one's insulin dependent, one's taking meds, one's controlled by food. Once you get all those different things, it gets confusing, because you think diabetes, the normal person say diabetes. You don't even know if it's type 1, type 2, and what else is going on and how you treat that. So that's why we're going to have him come on for a couple of episodes to give us a breakdown of what diabetes is. What are signs, warning signs, symptoms, things like that? Because you might have the signs and symptoms and you think it's something else.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to tell you, don't go run to Dr. Google, read these signs and symptoms, because you could misdiagnose yourself.
But you know what?
Professional help.
But it's real what you're saying about checking in with your healthcare provider before you start these specific diets or do these things. So I found out that I have a B12 deficiency. So now we're trying to see if it's genetic or because of the way I've been eating food. Because for me, I went like years ago, I went vegan. Well, I went vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And in going vegetarian, it altered my diet moving forward. So I'm just now getting back to the point where I can stand the smell of raw meat. So I probably cooked, I literally have probably cooked meat maybe 5 times within the last 7 years because just getting, not eating meat like that. Now I'm back on like chicken, man. Chicken called my name. I'm that black person that love chicken, okay? But but I with my B12 deficiency, so now I had to look up the foods that are rich in B12. So one of the first things is I saw like beef and dairy and certain dairy products, and then I'm already eating salmon, but specific sockeye salmon, certain fish and certain things to help increase my B12. So every day right now I'm taking my B12 pills, and hopefully when I go back to the doctor on the 6th, hopefully my B12 levels have risen, so I don't have to take no shots on a regular basis. But it goes into that. If I like, because you know, a lot of people, to them, veganism is the only other option. And really, it's about having a balanced diet. And even if you are vegan or you do eat meat, at the end of the day, you still have to have a balanced diet. You still need all 102 vitamins and minerals, and you can't get around it. Balance is the key. And veganism is not the cure for for a lot of people. Veganism is not the cure, because if you do a lot of study on it, and I'm not telling anybody not to do it, what I'm saying is if you're going to do it, make sure you do your research properly. Make sure you get with your healthcare professionals. Make sure you do all these things and don't just dive in it, because I've seen a plethora of videos where people are talking about they went vegan and then they started to have health issues because a lot of the vitamins and minerals they were lacking. And so you do have to understand where supplements come in, or all these different things. So wherever, if you love to eat meat, you need to make sure you do it right. If you love to eat vegetables, make sure you do it right. If you like me, you're a sometimetarian. I mean, sometimes I eat it, sometimes I don't. But still understanding at the end of the day, balance. Don't be the person that's going off the trends of what everybody's doing. Because the keto diet, it became trendy, but it didn't work for everybody. Veganism became trendy. It's not working for everybody. Stop following trends and get back to balance. Do what's best for your individual physiological makeup, because we are all different. If you don't, you're gonna do more harm to your body than good. So, all right. So with that being said, we want to transition this conversation to kind of give a a recap or a wrap up of this wild and crazy roller coaster ride that we call the year 2020. Because I know for us, the year this I forget you, coronavirus. Forget you. Okay, because we were so used to being feet to the ground. Like we rarely was in our office. We were rarely in our office. We could be on FAMU campus one day, TCC campus the other day, FSU campus the next day, in the project the other day, in the Capitol the next day. And coronavirus grounded us. Coronavirus really um, it halted us a bit, but it made us think outside the box of how can we still provide services to people. So I want to ask you, so when this corona first hit as the program director, and you understanding that, for first of all, we ain't gonna be able to do outreach the same way we did outreach. So what were some of the thoughts that were going through your head about the program, of how we can kind of at least sustain the amount of work that we were doing?
Well, anybody who ever runs a program, you look at your deliverables and you look at the things that you got to say, hey, this is what we said we gonna do.
Right.
And it's hard to say that when they say you can't be around people. And when you got to get tests, you're right there. You're not 6 feet apart. It's
Right.
hard.
Right.
And so you have to really figure out what I can do and how I can alter the things. And then you have to look at as a program manager, everybody is not on the same level as everybody else is. So some people don't have computers. Some people don't have cell phones that have unlimited minutes and data. So when you're talking everybody jumping on the bandwagon, oh, let's go hard on this Zoom meetings and this and that. Everybody, the people who need the services the most,
they
sometimes don't have the computers, the connections to get on. They don't have the cell phones because they have the minute phones, or they have data plans that they can only go to so much data a month. So you really have to come out of the box and say, this is what we have to do, and set up meetings and things like that. Even if you have to do one-on-one meetings and things, you got to make sure you put on all your PPE and things like that. You got to ask questions. And the coronavirus it happened. And I think, in my opinion, I just want everybody to know this is just my opinion. I don't want nobody to take it any further, anything else, to say anything else. But I've kind of enjoyed the setback that it kind of gave us. It kind of made us come back to reality and really sit back and say, this is where we need to get back to priority. Let's take it back. We were moving fast. I mean, it was microwaving, everything was going, but now it's kind of set back, and now it's starting to we're at home now. We're visiting with family that's in a house family. You're seeing, when the coronavirus pandemic first started, they shut everything down. The only place people could go to was the park. It brought me so much joy to see Black men, white men out there with children. And they were out there playing the football, throwing things, spending time together, which brought me back to when it was our age. Because Joe, we old. We not no young folk no more. We almost in the 40s.
We some old roosters.
So thinking about going back to when we were younger, seeing us outside playing with our fathers, doing the different things with our brothers, and saying sisters and outside playing, having picnics because we just want to get out the house, getting to spend that time together. It got some people who are in relationships to bring closer together because you got to date the person. You got to do the old school stuff. It's not no more, we on the phone, but you actually got, the only place you can go to now is a park. And you could just chill at the park and talk and get to know people and see people and say, hey, how you doing from a distance? But it got it back to where we had to come back and think about what's priority, not always being out there working, doing everything. We had to sit back and say, hey, life is changing. Life isn't promised. We see people, and as in the healthcare field, we see people dying younger and younger each day. And you got to come up with your priorities to say, hey, this can't happen to me. People are dying from different type of diseases, different type of issues in the community, different type of, beefs, things like that. But you got to look at, life is not always promised to us, and we got to take our hands on the best life we have, and we got to make that live and work for us.
Yeah.
And that's what this got it back to for me. It got me to reevaluate things and say, hey, I need to take care of myself. I need to get healthy because I don't want coronavirus. And if I do catch coronavirus, I need to be at my healthiest state so I can say I can fight this virus.
Yeah.
And so it's not saying, because right now, honestly, nobody really knows how it's contracted, how it affects. Everybody is different. And that's what I want people to understand. Because somebody catches coronavirus doesn't mean you're going to have the same effects, the same side effects, the same signs and symptoms. We want you to understand it affects everybody differently. And it's something new. So nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So we want you to understand. Thankfully, we've been able to, keep our bodies healthy. We're doing our things we're supposed to do. And it's important. Please, I walk around the city so many times and see people with no mask. Come on and take.
Now you in my mind.
To say, hey, let's see what we can do to stop this. And if everybody can come together and stop and do what they're supposed to do, it will stop. Stop having all these large gatherings. If you do have a gathering, make sure you have your face mask on, glasses instead of a face shield. You don't have to have face shield, but glasses, something to protect you from getting it. And if you do have those things, just please protect yourself.
People are being willfully selfish and ignorant during these times.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm gonna start with, I was watching a video on YouTube. It was supposed to be about African history, but somehow they ventured into the coronavirus. And it was a guy who's, I'm not gonna say his name, but it was a guy who's seen as a scholar. I'm not that familiar with him, but I'm familiar enough to know that if he's on this platform and a little bit of his work, he's a scholar,
Right.
meaning he knows how to do research and
Okay.
research his research. And so he was telling the people that he said, don't get the coronavirus test because they are giving you the virus in the test. Red flag, hold up, bro. You lying. And you are blatantly lying to the people. We just got tested on Monday. We've been tested a million times. I haven't had a positive test yet.
Me neither.
So now there were some cases in the past when Corona first came out, when they was first doing the test, where they did have some tests that were contaminated for particular reasons. But that doesn't mean that across the board that you should not take the coronavirus test because they're giving you the virus in the test. That's not true. So first of all, let's get over these myths. Let's get over these lies and things that people are putting out because they're pushing specific agendas, which is unfair because the people who are affected the most, we're talking about poor blacks, poor whites, poor Hispanics, poor anybody, people who come from low income communities, people who come from communities where the health disparities are already high. One of the things that's kind of been sad to me is I go into these stores, I'm in these neighborhoods, and people either aren't wearing masks or they got their nose out. You might as well not even wear the mask if you're gonna walk around with your nose hanging out like that. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But I want people to stop being selfish. You may not care, but also like um, establishment owners, business owners, you clearly don't care about the people that you're serving. Because if you cared about the people that you're serving, you would not allow anybody to come to your establishment with either their nose hanging out or without a mask on. You would make it mandatory. And I don't see people enforcing it. I just like whatever. So you see somebody going to the corner store and they get them some malt liquor, some hot, some. Even though I like the big shebangs now. No diss on big shebangs. I like the big shebangs now, but they get you some. They get a lot of stuff that's not really healthy for them. But and you don't have a mask on. Oh yeah, and let me get some blunts or some cigarettes. Like we're talking about a respiratory disease and you smoking already, and then you putting all these other unhealthy things. And so my thoughts is what is the narrative? What is the information that's going out in these low income communities or these communities with the high disparities where the idea is I don't need to wear this mask. Like and listen, people, I need y'all to do your own independent research and stop using the Tuskegee experiment as an excuse for, well, I'm not going to get the vaccine. Look, everybody have their thoughts about the vaccine, but you're not an expert at this. Stop using the Tuskegee experiment if you don't know all the details to it. I understand what the narrative is. Do your independent research so you can see what the truth is about the experiment. I'm not going to go deep into it on this one. It's a cliffhanger that you can do your own research, but we have to do better in making sure that we protect ourselves with this current virus going around until you as an individual decide to either take the vaccine or like Mathias said, if we didn't even have to be here where we are today with this vaccine being the thing that has to happen. Looking at other countries have been able to deal with coronavirus without a vaccination. Why? Because people complied. I understand we got all this freedom, but let's have the wherewithal to look out for our individual selves, our families, and others. Like Mathias and I, we've been frontline from the beginning. We've been testing from the beginning. We can't tell you how many different testing events or testing sites we've been at. We just did one Sunday. We're gonna have another one coming up. Like we stay testing all the time. We're front line, and we're telling y'all this disease is real. It's affecting people in many, many ways, and you won't believe the stories that we're hearing from people. So that is one tidbit. Is let's go into 2021 with a better mindset about our overall health and stop being so selfish. That's
Mhm.
one thing I would say.
But so you hit on some good points, and it's like for business owners, we're charging you as healthcare providers. You put that sign up, say mask required, enforce it.
Right.
Say, hey, you can't come in here with a mask on. I understand you're busy and you don't want to deter, you know what I'm saying, people from coming to your business. And I understand it's an economic crisis where everybody's trying to make money. But we also got to think about the health too, because we don't want another shutdown. We don't want those things that's going to cause people to be out of a job, to do things and things like that. It's already hard enough for us to get stimulus packages and things like that to assist. We have a lot of people who are out of work right now due to the coronavirus pandemic. And we want people to understand we can put a stop to this. Wash your hands. I see a lot of people on the street. Sometimes even when I go to the park, do I want to wear a mask? No.
No.
It's
I don't
hot.
like these masks.
But we do it every day. I even had problems with my face started breaking out because of the mask. So, you know what I'm saying? We in it. We're here every day doing it. Tallahassee, I have to give them their props. Leon County, thank you. The city of Tallahassee, thank you. City of Gaston County, thank you. Our cities and counties are doing their part. There are testing events almost every day.
There's
You
no
can
excuse for not getting tested.
Medical Center, Bond Community Health Center, Bragg Stadium. I mean, they're everywhere. They're all over. Go on leoncounty.cares. Leon County is doing a lot of things to help people, but people don't want to use the resources to get help. So it's simple little things they got to answer and stuff like that. Put your pride aside and do it. Stay safe. Use your sanitizer. Wash your hands.
Right.
Put on your face. You don't even have to put on face shields. I'm even fine to put on glasses. Something to protect your eyes and your mask. Make sure you wear it accordingly. Everybody we see in the store at a gas station or something that's checking people out is like this. It's no sense, and all you doing is holding us back from the breath. That's it.
That's it.
I need you to have it up on your nose, secure around, because that's one thing that you need to make sure you have covered because it could go in your nose. Like I say, nobody really knows. As far as I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not nobody. But most people do not know how it is passed.
Right.
We don't know if it's droplet, airborne. We don't know, and it's okay. But we're doing what we can do to protect ourselves. So make sure. And a lot of people don't want to get tested because I don't want my name in the system. I don't want to know this. But we need to get tested. We charge everybody to come get tested. It's free at a lot of different locations.
Hey,
it's free.
For people who say they don't want their name in the system, guess what? You already in a system. You got a social security number. What you mean? You in the system.
And it's okay. And it's a lot of times now, like people, and you got to be, I really want people to understand it's very effective. It could get to legal issues if you get coronavirus and don't say nothing. If you get coronavirus and still going about your day-to-day operation, you are spreading corona. Stop. They tell you to quarantine. They tell you to stay home. Make sure you clean, Lysol, do the different things. It's a reason for it because we're trying to end the pandemic. And we want people to know, go out, get tested. If you become positive or if you have symptoms, say something. Don't go to work. It's okay. If you had sitting there having diarrhea and you're having sore throats and shortness of breath, don't go to work.
Right.
I have to tell myself that all the time. Everybody tell you, I come to work with a cold. Back in the day, I don't miss work. Right. But hey, right now, you got to take all precautions. If I have a cold or something, hey, I can't come to work today because I could have signs. I need to come get tested and see what's going on to make sure, because I want to make sure I protect my coworkers and the community as well as myself. Right. And that's what people need to realize. It's not just protecting yourself, you're protecting everybody else. You got to think about your brother, your sister, your mom, your auntie. I still haven't seen my mom like I normally do because she's of age. She's in her 60s. And I work in the coronavirus field. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm out here on the front lines every day. Do I want to take something to my mom? No. Do I want to see my mom? Yes. I have to do innovative ways to see her. I have to sit there and get on the FaceTime and say, hey, Mom, how you doing? Yes, I missed the interaction, but I don't want to get her in trouble. I don't want to get her affected. I don't want to give her the coronavirus because it could be on my clothes and I don't know it. We don't know how it spread or passed. But like I say, Joe and I and a lot of other people are on that front line, and we're doing our best to protect the community. And we want you to come get tested and utilize the free services that are there. If one person in your household tests positive, get tested. If you're around your friends and you are around them, and they say, "Oh, I came up positive for coronavirus." Well, I ain't got no signs and symptoms, so I ain't gonna get tested. No, you could have been exposed. Go
Right.
get tested.
Right.
Get a test to make sure. That's it. And it don't take but a few minutes to
Yep.
get tested. It's
Yep.
a simple smart, and I want everybody to know it's not like it used to be, where it goes all the way back with the nasopharyngeal. It's a lot. It's simple. It goes in your nostril, round, 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 and you're out. It's simple. It takes less than 5 minutes to get swabbed, and they can do. Some places do rapids. Some you find out in 2 to 5 days. I mean, it's free. It's there. Get tested so you know. And that's just like we push HIV testing. Get tested. Know your status. Because if you don't know your status, you can't protect yourself. We
But
want to live healthy lives.
well, that's another thing too that we expect it to happen. A rise in STDs. I was looking at an article that was shared on Facebook yesterday about, and we're familiar with it because we work in STDs, but it was talking about the presence of what they call the super gonorrhea right now because people are having so much sex during these times. Because we know a lot of people having sex and it's cool, but have to have protected sex unless you in your relationship, you married or stuff, whatever, having protected sex because we have seen a rise in STDs. That's something we did kind of expect to happen. We kind of predicted that we're going to see a rise in STDs because of the stay at home, the stay at home, stay in shelter, however you say it, stay at home orders though, and um, people, the regular human way of living is people still going to want to have sex. People still going to want to do that. People are still going to want to go about their regular living, even though we really can't. So I do want to say this though: Corona isn't a excuse to just going out having unprotected sex. Corona is an excuse to going out risking it all. Because you got to remember, in these times, you can get all the STDs you're looking for plus Corona. Imagine what that does to your immune system. You're really compromising your immune system, looking at you like, bruh, or sis, what's really going on? Like, you really gonna do that to me? Because I understand we all got urges. We all got our urges and want our urges met. But at the end of the day, what's more important, your urge being met or you being healthy?
But you know what, Joe? It's going back to people still don't ask people the status. And you know what I'm saying? When we go over, like I recap our whole year this year, we always, always, always talk about HIV, STDs, PrEP, PEP. You know what I'm saying? Please check out our previous podcasts, our healthy happy hours, our different things like that. PEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. Um, Please check it out. If you feel like you've been exposed to HIV, please give us a call. You can give the health department a call, the Leon County, Gaston County. You can do Big Ben Cares, Bond. You can even do MACA Inc. You can do all different type of agencies here in Leon County and Gaston County to help you with those exposures. Please remember that if you are exposed to HIV, you need to get to us within 72 hours of exposure. That is from the point of contact that the sex has started. So if you had sex at 4 o'clock, we need to be your next stop after that. If you found that you were exposed to HIV. Please give the risk factors and stuff. We're going to ask you a lot of questions. Please be open and honest with your healthcare professional because we can't help you if you don't tell us the truth or tell us what's going on. Don't give me bits and pieces. If it's not just so you can get medication, please, please, please be honest with us because you could do yourself a great disservice by lying to get certain things that you want to get done. So, I mean, we recap about that, the vaccine, the flu. We just want people to be healthy. 2020 has taught us we as Americans, as a people, as a community need to be healthy. And we need to take our lives in control of ourselves. We are the captain of our fate. We are the captain of our ship. Nobody else can make us be healthy. Nobody else can make us do right but ourselves.
Right. So
So
I want to ask this because I know you got to get to your next destination. But so before we kind of end this, what was, and I give mine too. What was your highlight of 2020?
my highlight of 2020 was actually, it's crazy. The pandemic has really made me think outside the box even more. Even though I've been able to think outside the box and figure out how I can do my job even better and make ways to reach people that I didn't think I could reach people at. But the pandemic also kind of made me realize that family is more important. Through the pandemic, I've been through a lot of stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
personal, work, pandemic size, but it has made me realize that I need to think about myself and family. I'm the type person I always put myself before, I mean, others before myself, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I'm always the person that helps people. But I had to realize that I'm still going to do that, but I need to take care of Mathias and make sure I take care of family and spend that time. Because, like I said earlier, life isn't promised. We could be dead and gone tomorrow. We don't know. We might not wake up in the morning. As one of my coworkers used to say, I'll see you. What is it? If the creek don't rise,
Yeah. At the sun don't Lord willing and the creek don't
creek
rise.
don't rise.
Yeah.
So we have to look at things like that and see. So my greatest thing from the pandemic has taught me is that it's about self-care and to be healthy, and that we need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we as a people in the community are healthy and we're safe. And that's what it's brought to me. And it actually educated me on different ways. And I can pat myself on the back because we're coming up with different ways. We were already doing it, Joe. We were already doing out the box events, out the thing. We just had to figure out a way now that we can capture everybody's attention
Right.
via the internet.
Right. Right. I would say my highlight would be two things: our leadership training and starting this podcast. The leadership training taught me to look at myself in a better light than I have in the past, because it's one thing to talk about greatness and it's another thing to see yourself as great. And so in the leadership training, it really kind of hit home for me. Like, hey, bro, you got to start, really got to start looking at yourself in eyes of greatness. You got to start looking at yourself, because we know we do good things, but so used to, and that's why I think we should learn to be humble to a point, because we're taught so much, be humble, be humble, be humble, be humble, that we never celebrate and recognize the greatness that we bring to the table. And that leadership training really opened my eyes to start to now to got to start like I'm live. I'm I'm live. And so and it's just things that I think everybody should do. Celebrate your victories, celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate yourself, whether it's a small victory or a large victory. Celebrate yourself. Don't be the person who is so humble that you decide, well, I know I do these things, but you were great. You bring greatness to the table. That's one of the things that I had to learn with the leadership training, and in this podcast is I love the fact that, first of all, we've been wanting to do this, but we got it up, we got it running, and we still doing it, and we're already getting feedback from it, and people are enjoying it, people are learning things, and I really love it, because this podcast was really a supplement for a lot of the things that we want to do. Like, for everybody who know us here at Neighborhood, we we're gonna hit you in your head with events all the time. When pre-COVID,
Every day. Every
right,
day.
right, and then come around September, October, going into the end of the year, we're gonna hit you with these events, and we couldn't really do it, but being able to do these podcasts, do our leadership training, do our food distributions, kind of supplementing with that, so our impact in the community is still there. And even moving forward in the corona environment, our impact is going to get even greater. So I would say those are some of my highlights. So um
Joe, you're right. With the leadership training, I really have to thank Compass,
yeah.
the Compass Initiative, Emory, and Miss Jacqueline Coleman. Um, through the pandemic, Jacqueline has opened my eyes to me being a leader and me being a stronger leader in the HIV community as well as just community health itself and here at Neighborhood Medical Center. Jacqueline has opened my eyes to a new way of training. And as some people know me, I could be a yes person. I'm just yes, 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 yes. Whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. But she's taught me a lot of different things that I need to learn to say, hey, I got to do this first. And so, but I really thank her, and I couldn't go without saying anything with that in this new year without saying thank you to Miss Jacqueline Coleman, because she taught me it's the new now. It's not what it is, but it's the new now. We're in the new now, the new normal, because normal was never a real thing. Who knows what normal is? This is the new now.
Right.
So I really have to thank the Compass Initiative from everybody that we got to meet some great people, some great leaders and the community throughout it was out throughout the United States. There were Texas, California, all these different people that were on this training that we did for like 3 to 4 months that really taught us how to be great leaders. And I'm grateful for that because they instilled something in me that I forgot a long time ago. And so I really, what I'm saying, those are the great aspects. And I really do have to give a shout out to my bosses, Dr. Sharon Foster and Miss Janae Freeman, for allowing us to do the great things that we do. Because nobody else knows Neighborhood Medical Center, we can't do any of it without them. And they allow us to see our visions come true. They allow us to be able to serve the community how we need to serve the community and just really just say, you know what, I trust you guys, let's go with it.
Right.
And I really thank you for having that and letting us see our visions and our things for the community come true. So I couldn't go into a new year without thanking them on how much we appreciate everything that you all have done for us.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I definitely echo that for our leadership training, Ms. Jacqueline Coleman, everybody who was a part of the leadership training. We appreciate all of you, the staff here at Neighborhood, because a lot of things that go on, we can't really do it without our staff. Our IT team come through.
Mark and Ian,
They come through. Our case management team, they come through. They are, especially if they help us. Dr. Katrina Ball, the things that she's done. I do want to give a shout out to everybody who was a part of this podcast as well. Like I said, Mark Leonard, Dr. Butler, shout out to her, Dr. Foster, Danielle Williams, Sean Kruger, Brianna Jernay. Who else we had?
Danielle Williams.
Yeah, Brianna. I know we had Brianna, Danielle, Sean Kruger, Dr. Ball, had Dr. Foster.
Miss Steeple, we couldn't do
Miss Steeple, definitely Miss Steeple, Mark,
Ian for being in the background.
And just everybody who was a part of it. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to do moving forward with we got men's health podcast that's going to be coming up. So I'm looking forward to having the sit downs with Dr. Lang and Dr. Kirksey and all just the other men that we're going to be able to connect with. But just the whole staff, our Ryan White team. Do want to give a shout out to Mara Wright and Molly Charles. They helped set the foundation for what we're doing. They're no longer with us, but they helped set the foundation for what we're doing moving forward. And once again, shout out to Miss Steeple. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Hey, and get you some rest. And I'm talking to me too.
Yeah, and I thank you, Joe, because even when I couldn't do it, because I can't do it by myself, and everybody knows we down some people, but hey, times of work. As in my motto and Neighborhood's motto is teamwork makes the dream work. We don't matter. It doesn't matter. We're going to get the job done regardless if it's one person, two people, or if it's a whole village or an army. So we're still going to get the work done. So teamwork makes the dream work for Neighborhood Medical Center. Right. And I really thank everybody from the medical staff, the financial staff, the the billing departments. I mean, every entity at Neighborhood Medical Center and our community partners. I really could not say enough about Florida A&M University Health Center, CHA, FSU's Health Center. I can't say enough about you guys, from Big Ben Cares to Bond to MACA to CarePoint to, I mean, anybody in the community that has worked with Neighborhood Medical Center, from the Salvation Armies to the different disc villages to
everybody who we
community resources that allow us to come in and do testing and do education from different places like
the city of Tallahassee.
The city of Tallahassee, different apartment complexes. And I mean, just allowing us to come in and do events. We thank you and we appreciate everything for you. And we look forward to working with you in the new year. We really do.
Definitely shout out to the staff at the Lincoln Neighborhood Center, Ms. Brown, Mr. Reggie, Mr. Kevin, because they come through for us, especially when we're doing these food distributions. They're part of the food distributions, helping us regulate the traffic and get people food. Like Mr. Reggie, when we still have food left over, Mr. Reggie don't have to do this, but he fill up his truck and he go to the low income apartments where he know people can't get to us, and he go pass out the food. We don't have to do that. Shout out to Mr. Black. Shout out to Mr. Gaines. Shout out to everybody, Jacardi, everybody, the whole staff of everybody when we go out doing testing, the whole testing staff. Thank you to everybody, because we have a lot of ideas and things that we want to do, and we got a lot more ideas that we want to do moving forward. But a lot of times we can't do these things without the manpower. And one of the greatest resources is people. And we always want to make sure that we invest in ourselves and invest in people, because that's one of the greatest resources we will ever have. So we're grateful to everybody who's helped us get to where we are. And we look forward to having an event for 2021, because it's going down. So
we got great ideas. We already got events planned. As soon as we can get the okay, trust me, the events are back.
Oh, yeah.
We already have them planned and ready. And so we've had nothing but time to plan. So events will be coming back to back, ready for the new year to educate everybody as soon as we can get out and on the ground running. Trust me, we'll be back.
Yeah. So with that being said, once again, this is Mind, Your Body, and Soul, the Healthy Podcast. Is Mathias Sweet. I'm Joseph Ward. Shout out to Miss Alana Steaple, Dr. Staples. Shout out to you. And we will literally see y'all next year.
All right. Take it easy. Happy New Year, everybody.
Merry New Year.